It's been a long off-season for the Ute boys, and just like last year, they're ready to rumble.
We've got cars going everywhere.
This is the Auto 1 V8 Utes, protected by Armour All. Well, it's that time again. We're going to let the Ute boys loose. It's round one on the streets of Adelaide here at the Clipsal 500. Team Norton DJR's James Moffat's my co-driver today. And would you believe, Rookie of the Year in Utes in 2005. How time flies. This weekend, the FG Falcon makes its full-time series debut. As a long-time Blue Oval man, you must be excited.
Well, it's great to see the FG Ute finally debut in the series, and I'm sure the teams have been burning the midnight oil to get the cars ready, but hopefully they can give it to the Holden boys this weekend.
Last year in the final race here in Adelaide, we saw monsoon conditions. We saw unbelievable amounts of carnage. The weather forecast isn't too good for this weekend.
It is looking a bit dodgy, but you know, if it does rain, the drivers and teams, they just have to be sensible about it, because last year we saw a lot of heavy crashes, and when that happens, it puts you on the back foot for the whole year, because you've got to repair those crashed cars, and you're always on the back foot. So hopefully they can stay out of trouble, but certainly if it does rain, we're in for some good action.
We're looking forward to getting this all started for 2012. 16 Commodores, 16 Falcons, and a whole pile of new FGs. But with all this concrete around, we could probably think of a better place to start. The Adelaide street circuit is infamous for claiming its fair share of victims who dare to dance too close to its walls. Oh, that's a big hit. With the new Coyote-powered FG Falcon debuting this weekend, there's a pile of nervous new car owners keen to escape this opening round in one piece, including Ben Cabbage, who knows only too well what it's like to get caught up in the carnage.
I suppose if you could imagine driving down the freeway and having 400 cars trying to take the same bit of road, you know, you've got guys in the back of you, guys either side of you, and then you can't go anywhere because there's 2 or 3 cars in front of you. And people get a little bit impatient, and I guess you could call it racetrack rage. Start to nudge each other around to make some space for themselves, and it usually ends up in some sort of carnage.
By all accounts, though, the new machine is a marked improvement on the previous BF model.
The engine in the BF's a 5.4 steel engine, and last couple of years I've just struggled with temperature with that particular engine, and when it sees a lot of temperature, the horsepower, you know, goes by the wayside. This particular engine runs a whole lot cooler, and as a consequence, it just it's more consistent.
Well, we've all got new suspension package in the cars this year, and that's been fantastic. They're adjustable shockers that we've got in the car now, so we can adjust the bump and the rebound, which means that we can actually change the dynamic of the car a lot more than we've been able to in the past.
Reigning champ Chris Pither is only racing selected rounds this season. He's on a roll at the moment after winning his class in the recent Bathurst 12-hour and recently announcing a new deal for 2012.
I was very excited to confirmed last week that I've got the Enduro drive with Wilson Security Racing alongside David Wall with BJR. That's very exciting, and that's where I want to be. I want to be back in supercars and racing them, hopefully full time. With that in mind as well, I think yeah, it's a good time to sort of step aside and let someone else have a crack.
Adelaide's own Craig Dondas will achieve something never done before in the V8 Ute series. He'll compete against his twin brother Troy at his home race this weekend. And that will be the first time the twins have ever raced against each other in Ute history.
Oh gosh, it's my mum is stressing her head out. She doesn't want to come to the event, but look, he's been wanting to do it for a couple of years, so I sat down with him about 4 months ago and said, look, we can do it, and I've helped him get there. I think he's just got to not stress out and enjoy the moment, and he'll have a good weekend.
The jewel is certain to bring back memories from their junior go-karting racing days.
It was good fun, but one of us would always come home in tears, so it's pure brother versus brother, and you do anything you can to beat him. So if you've got to put him into the tyres, you do it, and you've got bragging rights at the breakfast table or the dinner table, so it's fine.
Bundaberg driver Cam McConville got the hang of the Ute series in the second half of last year and is back for more. This time, though, he's got winning the championship at the forefront of his thinking.
The last 4 rounds of last year, we were really on top of our game. You know, we won the round at Sandown, were podium at Gold Coast. We won the last race of the year at Homebush, and we're on the podium again. So it kind of ended too early for us. And look, I enjoyed the year, and it's great to be competitive in a championship again.
And the Auto 1 wildcard entry, where guest and celebrity drivers make a one-off appearance against the regulars, is back. In Adelaide, it's two-time Ute champ and Team Vodafone endurance signing Warren Luff that's been given the gig. Luff used to be the driving standards advisor for this category, so this could be a chance for the good old boys of Ute racing to get their own back.
Look, I think anyone that's ever watched a bit of racing of the V8 Ute series knows that it gets pretty hustle and bustly out there. There's usually a fair bit of contact out there. I think probably the biggest thing from my time as the driving standards, it was just about guys trying to give each other a bit of racing room. So I'll be out there this weekend trying to make my own bit of racing room.
Well, the Armour pole position for this weekend has gone to Ford's David Cedars. It's his third straight pole here on the streets of Adelaide. He scored the last two of last season, and he starts 2012 with $1,000 with thanks to Armour All. Stick with us after the break. All the chat stops and the racing starts. It's race one for the streets of Adelaide.
You're back watching the Auto 1 V8 Utes, protected by Armour All. To race one highlights now, and at the first hit out for the year, the new FG Falcons dominated the front row of the grid.
Poleman David Cedars to the left, Jack Elsgood, the former champ, to the right of the Cooper's clear car. Contact down the back already.
There's a problem for Elsgood too, Aaron.
He's limping, he's getting out of the way, and I think he's been hit by Chris Pither. Look at the left front on the Ice Break Coffee Commodore.
Yeah, definitely dramas for Pither there.
Look,
so
he's done. He's done. The reigning champ's out.
Let's see if the rest of them can manage to get through the turn one chicane cleanly. Cedars, perfect start for him.
Roll Harris slots into second spot. There's Kim Jane. Gary Baxter side by side with Ben Cabbage just behind. He's gone 4 days straight without any sleep to get this car ready, get it here and race. I'd be surprised if he doesn't snooze at lap 3.
Well, we did say that a lot of the guys in the FGs would have been burning the midnight oil to get these cars ready, and that's certainly been the case for him.
Well, they only got their engines, the Coyote engine from the United States, a week before the round. They had to be dyno, tested, sealed and checked. So really a lot of them haven't had a chance to go testing before coming here this weekend. This is Andrew Fisher, brand new FG Ute, car number 9. Through turn 8. You've always got to hold on there because it's so quick. Reece McNally, Stratco Commodore, is right in behind him in the fight for 4th.
Couple of moves down here, further down the field into the hairpin. Classic passing opportunity. No. Here we go, all locked up here.
That's Josh Burden, the youngster from Tasmania, who's running this weekend in a bit of a last-minute deal. He's from Formula 3. Troy Donis is in the fence. And leaving the scene of the crime was Jared McLeod, who got involved in that one.
So a couple of new boys into the Utes this year, getting stuck right into things.
Oh, that's a big lock-up from Chris Walton. He's driving the Renko Ford that we're looking at here. He's got it wide. Fisher will slip down the inside. We right on board the NZ in-car, but Walton, remember he started at Sandown last year, won a race on debut and really made an impact. He's driving for Rod Dawson's team in a brand new car. I reckon he's going to do pretty well.
Yeah, that's right. And he's formerly, I guess, driven in the Saloon Car Series and had quite a bit of success there. Like you said, from what we saw of him last year at Sandown, he's definitely going to be in contention for race wins this year. On board now with Andrew Fisher and the Jesus Racing Ford Falcon FG. Nice to finally say that, Aaron. But having said that, Royal Harris in the old BF model is still doing a good job up front, giving David Cedars lots of pressure.
Now here's an Auto 1 replay at the start. Elsgood's thing just coughs and splutters. There's the tap from Pither on the way through, but there was drama going on back in the pack. Here's the jump. Initial launch is good. Looks in the mirror. Away we go. New season. Oh, bang.
And I'd say that damage to Pither's car is probably a broken left front steering arm by the look of that.
He pulls it off at the chicane. He's done for the day so far.
Out in front, the top 3 Fords streaked away from the field.
Remember too that David Cedars, who leads, is teammates with Andrew Fisher, who sits 3rd. Ryle Harris, remember, he was the dominant man late last season. He's running the older model BF Falcon. He's working hard on some sponsorship. He hasn't done any testing. He doesn't need to go testing. He's good in these things.
Exactly right. And that was a pretty aggressive move by Ryle, which what we've, I guess, become accustomed to seeing his driving style. Fisher now over the curve.
Now Cedars
got a problem for sure.
He's got a major drama. You'd have to wonder if both the brand new FGs that start on the front row of the grid have had weird sort of problems. Fisher just makes it around turn 4, but Cedar's car, they only got the engine 2 days before they left to come to Adelaide. They've done no testing. They had brake issues. They had a computer malfunction in practice too, and Harris was lucky not to punt him into the fence.
No, you're exactly right there. That could have been a really nasty incident.
With Cedars gone, Reece McNally inherited 3rd place, but was under intense pressure from Chris Walton.
McNally now, gets the turn 8 wall, a bit of a rub, and managed to pull a gap on Walton. How did he do that?
Are you kidding? Bit of a rub, he slammed it.
Ah, well, yeah. Nothing like Rubbins Racing, Noons.
Auto 1 replay, left rear, clunk, straightens him up. No rubbing tyre, push on. Another angle, on the wall. Oh.
On the final lap, Harris and Fisher were locked in a dogged fight for the lead, with neither willing to give an inch.
Now, it's been a long while between drinks for Andrew Fisher. Has not won a race for 2 years. He won the Legends race here with Rick Bates in 2010. Ryle Harris was the winning machine last year, but he's got no run off turn 7. Fisher will sweep to the inside. He'll get this done.
He's got the lights on. Now, there's a bit of a policy, I guess, with drivers at turn 8, because it's really a one-line corner. If you're the car on the inside, 150 metres out from the corner, you've got right away, which Andrew did. So, into the hairpin. If he can pull it up here, which he can, all he's got to do is keep it nice and straight. Cedars there off to the left, so the dramas we saw earlier in the race with him, unfortunately, have meant that he's not going to finish his first race of the year.
And that was Jared McLeod's car parked to the side of the road. They've been falling like flies in this opening race of the championship. Fisher's in the mirror. He knows Harris is coming. He needs to cover the inside, and he's on it. He's done exactly what he needs to do, and he's done what Harris knew he'd do. He will bring it off the final turn. Andrew Fisher on debut with the FG. Now Harris is slowing. No one's going to make it to the line at this rate, but Fisher with a brand new car picks up a win, 1 from 1.
And Ryle just manages to limp across the line in second from McNally. And Chris Walton, Cameron McConville finishes 5th.
Ryan Hansford next home. Warren Luff, the Auto 1 wildcard car, will cross the line in P10. So not a bad job from the man they call the Rock Dog. He gets his old nickname back from the Ute racing days. Hell of a way to start the championship. David Cedars, he got going again. There he is. He's limped across the line in 25th. But it's Fisher who is the man of the moment. The Blue Oval filled 4 of the top 6 spots. Baxter, Jane, Pretty, Luff, that's the top 10 as they finished. Craig Donis, 11th in a borrowed car. He rode his car off in a testing crash before this weekend. 18th to 11th for him. And there's David Cedars. He did limp to the line in 25th. Bad days for Elsgood and Pither, but a great day for Jesus Racing's Andrew Fisher.
Andrew, what a way to start the season.
Yeah, look, it's fantastic. In the new car, the team's put such a great effort into it, all the boys, and to come in with a win was just a great result.
And no scratch on the car. Gee, put that down to the record books.
Yeah, and a Ute race in particular, and yes, that was a great result to come in with a win, and I think we broke the lap record as well, so that was very exciting as well.
Time for race 2. It's the reverse grid 8th lapper. There's been a change, James, to the results. Cam McConville excluded from race 1. We'll touch on that in just a second. Here's the track, 14 turns, 3.2 kilometres. A couple of good overtaking chances too.
You're exactly right, and every driver loves coming to the streets of Adelaide. Perfect passing opportunities into turn 4 and turn 9, and also a bit of a chance into the last corner, turn 14.
Now, I mentioned a change in the grid. McConville's been excluded from race 1 for a very minor wheelbase irregularity, so he's been punted to the rear. Warren Luff from 10th goes to 9th, and that was the number drawn for the inversion. So he goes to pole with Nathan Pretty, Kim Jane and Gary Baxter alongside, then Ryan Hansford and Chris Walton, the teammates from Rod Dawson's team. So the Commodores at the front, but they haven't had pace this weekend.
No, that's exactly right. The Falcons definitely have been the car of choice this weekend, which doesn't upset me, but it'll be interesting, this reverse grid race, you know, whether it's 9 cars or 29 cars that are reversed, it's always exciting.
We got to the bottom of the Jack Elsgood drama. He had an electrical issue. It went into limp mode, and that's why Chris Pither crashed into him. So they're all starting down the back. Kim Jane, series regular, Newlon in-car camera with Kimbo. He starts second row of the grid. So can the Commodores get a victory? It's race 2 on the streets of Adelaide. Warren Luff to the left, Nathan Pretty in the Monster Commodore that has been a bit of a rocket ship this weekend compared to last year. He qualified 2.5 seconds quicker than he did in 2011, and he's got the jump to turn 1.
He certainly does. He did that perfectly. So he leads the field into turn 1. Let's hope they can get through this tight chicane all cleanly.
Oh! No, they don't. You called it too early. Jeremy Gray goes around Jared McLeod.
Pith is involved in this as well, Aaron.
And have a look at the left front. It's like a replay race one.
He's done and dusted, unfortunately, for this race. So terrible weekend. Gets even worse if that's possible.
Lucky he's not doing the full series. He's only going to do 4 rounds that he's committed to this year. Pretty Luff on board with Kim Jane in the 27 car, the new line-in car. He sits P3. So can the Commodores outrun the Falcons? There's no doubt about it. Those new Fords have got speed. Yellow flags on display. Safety car is called. Baxter's next. Ryan Hansford is the best of the Fords. And, well, we haven't even got half a lap and we're cruising.
So this safety car will be no doubt for the incident at turn 1, which we're just having a look now on the auto run replay. Let's see if we can spot what happened.
Oh, there's Jared McLeod down the inside, into the side of Jeremy Gray, Chris Pither. Wrong place, wrong time. Not his fault at all. And here's another angle. Around goes the SS Inductions. Ford and Pither squeezes through. And Gray started down the back in race 1. He was underweight in qualifying, and that's the ex-Greg Willis car. But Pither cannot take a trick at the moment. We're under safety car on the streets of Adelaide. A restart when we come back in just a few moments. Safety car is heading off to pit lane. A restarted race 2, round 1 of the Auto 1 V8 Ute Series, protected by Armour All. And it's Nathan Pretty, the Monster Energy Commodore, that will lead us back to the control line. Warren Luff, the former 2-time Series Ute champ, making a one-off run this weekend. He's in the Auto 1 100 car. Kim Jane, Gary Baxter, the Commodores 1, 2, 3, 4, but James Moffat, how long can they stay there?
Well, we know that the Fords have been quick all weekend, so it's just probably going to be a matter of time before they pick off those Commodores at front. Certainly I'm not going to be unhappy about that if that's the case.
Love listening to the field as it fires over that chicane in turn 1. Chris Walton a little bit sideways in the Renko car, just in the background. Back on board, Kim Jane, P3. Ooh.
Well, hard on the limiter there by Kimbo. So
well, it's not worth changing to the next gear because you're going to have to change back down straight away.
Oh, he's definitely pushing on, so that's good.
Reece McNally here, Stratco Commodore, Ben Dunn, right with him.
Oh, the boys are using plenty of track there, Nudes.
Well, it's there, so you may as well use it.
Oh, have a look at this now. 3 wide on the run up to turn 8. Hansford on the inside of Kim Jane.
And that FG pulled out and passed that Commodore pretty easily in a straight line.
Yeah, it definitely looks like the Falcons have a bit of a speed advantage in a straight line. Chris Walton now makes it 3 wide into the hairpin. And can you believe it? They all get through without running into each other.
I think they've got straight panels and mirrors attached. There's something clearly wrong with these boys. Fisher's wide, that's why. Ryle Harris is down the inside, but this has allowed Nathan Pretty and Warren Luff just to stretch a bit of a margin.
Yeah, it's exactly perfect for these guys because as the guys behind them are battling for position, slowing each other up, those two boys will be head down. Harris now up the inside of Kim Jane. So the guys are mucking around.
And we got to the bottom of Rylströmer at the end of race 1. He was jammed in 3rd gear. That's why that car really slowed off the final turn, but he did manage to bring it home and grab some points. How deep is he into the chicane? Straight across the curve at turn 2. And then on to Wakefield Street to turn 4.
One thing we know with Ryle is he always tries very hard. Come very close to the championship last year, so he'll be looking to go one step further this year and take home the title. But back on board with Andrew Fisher through the staircases, what it's commonly known to as us drivers on the street circuit here in Adelaide. Looking back now at Andrew Fisher from Kim Jane.
And this will give us a good indication. Out of turn 7 here, this is where the Fords have been getting really good runs and just blowing any Commodore off the road. Look at this, Chris Walton down the inside on Gary Baxter. He's got a run, he's got the inside line, and Baxter will have to yield.
So the Falcon boys are really using that new Coyote engine to their advantage. You don't usually see cars pulling out and passing one another into turn 8. Hansford now up the inside of Chucky Baxter.
And Harris will go through as well. Baxter's out wide up over the curb and loses a few spots in one hit. And I've already heard the murmurs around the paddock. The Holden boys are talking the P word, parity.
Well, we haven't heard it for a while, true. And I guess with the FG coming on so late, we've already spoken about how the teams were burning the midnight oil to get the cars ready. I'm sure that the series will look at closing up the 2 cars between, or for the next round.
And the next round will be at Simmons Plains in Tasmania. A bit of a return for us to go down to Tassie with the Ute Series. We'll also head back to Winton this year for the first time in a couple of years. But this is a really good fight, right in the middle of the top 10 pack. And it's all the familiar names. They're all the guys who've been driving these cars for plenty of years, except really for Chris Walton and Ryan Hansford, who's now in his second year of Ute racing, on board with Warren Luff, the Century Batteries in-car in the Auto 1 number 100 car. We'll see Greg Crick drive this car in the next round in Tasmania. I really like the way they're doing this. There's a different driver in this car at every round, and for it to be running second, this is pretty much the best it's run in a season of racing.
It certainly is a great concept to have a former two-time champion back in the car this weekend in Ryan Luff, who's got a run on his mate Nathan Pretty. Looks like Nathan in the Monster Commodore missed a gear out of turn 7 there, and Luffy has been able to slide up the inside and takes the lead.
Oh, they go so close to that concrete fence at turn 8, don't they? And he's through to the lead. He's running middle of the road. That's why. Pretty's still with him. And Walton is with them as well. He started 6th. He's up to 3rd. Here's our race 1 winner, Andrew Fisher, slicing his way through. Remember, he had to go back to 9th under the rules whereby the winner of race 1 draws a number to determine how many cars get inverted.
I'm sure he was pretty happy to only draw number 9 because we've seen in the past the field inverted up to 20 cars. So to go from 1st to 20th is a lot worse than 1st to 9th. Luff now under pressure from Pretty, locks the inside front tyre, but Walton looks like he's the man with a bit of speed here as we have a bit of an Auto 1 replay.
That's Travis Sharp, who's on debut, two-time Western Australian Saloon Car champ, joining in the Ute Series for the first time. Peter Burnett has not gone and made the chicane, but if you can not go through it, you may as well go over it.
Nothing like using a bit of curb there, Nudes.
A bit
and
of
a bit of
gravel,
gravel, yeah, just to spice things up.
Let's work. Look at Walton, he's all over them now. Warren Luff leading the way. He's busy. He's running an Audi this weekend. He's teaming up with Mark Eddy in the GT Series for the year. And remember, he'll team up with Craig Lowndes at Sandown and Bathurst later on in the season. But I reckon you better worry about this guy. Chris Walton's down the inside on Nathan Pretty. He's through to 2nd, and he's got a lap and a half to get to Luff.
And Chris has probably been one of the guys that we've seen adjust to these cars the quickest. Cameron McConville and Nathan Pretty came into the series last year, and it really took them probably half a year to get their heads around it. But Chris, he's been quick in these cars from day one, and he's doing a fantastic job. And if Luffy's not careful, he might be under threat from him.
This Chris Walton car, it's only had 10 laps of testing in the dark at Queensland Raceway. They broke a gearbox on the 2nd lap of opening practice, but from there on, it's been plain sailing. This thing has been something of a jet, and he's got a lap to get to Warren Luff, who's basically got to open the doors here to stop him.
And we've got Ryan Hansford sitting in 3rd there. He's kept his nose clean in this race, just crept up on it. So coming on to the final. Not having a look.
One to go. Can Luff hang on? Can Walton get by? Oh, he's got so much speed, he nearly unloads him down the front straight.
So he's just, it's clear that Walton has a lot of speed over the curb. Jeez, they're not worried about using the curbs, these fellas.
And Luff's just going to have to block everywhere because Walton's got so much car speed. It's crazy. There's nothing Luff can do.
And Luffy's entitled to go defensive on this last lap. You know, that's well within the rules. But the way that Walton's looking, it's going to be very hard for Luffy to hold him off. But we mentioned Ryan Hansford just a moment ago. He's in the box seat because if these two in front take each other out for whatever reason, he's going to pick up the pieces.
And Hansford, last year's Rookie of the Year, has set the fastest lap of this race. Half a second faster than Walton's been able to do, and he just blows Luff off the road.
Oh, Hansford's having a look as well, so...
There was nothing Luff could do about that. Walton just pulled out, passed him, and pulled back in before turn 8. And now Fisher is attacking Harris. Last lap, turn 9. Oh, he's in deep there. Just pulled it up.
So really, Fisher now, he's got one more opportunity to have a go at Harris, and that'll be in the last corner, turn 14.
Slow.
Luffy, so Hansford picks up 2nd.
And this will be a 1-2 for Rod Dawson's boys. What a stunning way to debut these two new FG Falcon Utes.
Harris up the inside, having a look at Luff.
No, not quite.
Luffy closes the door.
So Walton will win on the streets of Adelaide. Great job. Ryan Hansford 2nd. The Fords are 1-2. Nathan Pretty's 3rd. Luff is next. But if you're not in an FG at the moment, you're not going to win.
Well, that's the only way to be, Nudes.
Oh, spoken like a true blue oval man, huh? It's tight at the end. There's Jack Elsgood. He crosses the line and finishes 14th, which is a good fight back, considering he started 26th.
Oh.
The guys are going crazy. Kovacs Jr. and Warren Millett getting into it at the final turn. Troy Donis as well. It's never over till it's over.
Whoa, Fonzie Mullen in the Ramjet corridor almost wipes out Warren Millett.
Well, we got them all to the end, but it was a little bit tight. The fans at the grandstand loved it. Walton and Hansford do as well. 1-2 for Ford. Pretty Luff and Fisher ran out the top 5. David Cedars, that was a big charge. He started 24th. He finished in 10th. But it's our race winner, Chris Walton. He's with Kylie King.
Chris, you picked them off and you claimed that all-important victory.
Yeah, we definitely had to work hard. We had a pretty average car early in the weekend, but the boys worked hard last night. Got us good for us, and yeah, it made it a little bit easier for me.
You've certainly made an impact since entering this series. You know, a late charge late last year and winning again today.
Well, we couldn't have asked for a better start at the end of the year, and we can't ask for a better start at the start of the new year. New car, never been to this track before, and to come away with a race win, it's great.
Stay with us. After the break, it's the final race from the streets of Adelaide with the Auto 1 V8 Ute Series protected by Armour All.
Some high-tech, durable components to keep these V8 Utes racing at their optimum level. Among them are extreme clutches. Designed and manufactured by Australian Clutch Services, extreme clutches focus on high performance, delivering the power and torque from the engine to the transmission, allowing V8 Ute drivers to race on the limit.
In one race at a V8 Ute, in the V8 Ute series is potentially more harsh than an entire life of a vehicle on the road, so they take a fair beating.
Supplying extreme clutches to the V8 Ute series allows Australian Clutch Services to develop new products and maintain their role as a market leader.
Well, we're always searching for different ways to do R&D and all sorts of feedback from racing teams and high-performance vehicles, so having an entire field of V8 Utes running our clutches at every round is definitely a part of our R&D.
Final race of the weekend, race 3, and Chris Walton, race 2 winner, will square off with race 1 winner Andrew Fisher on the front row of the grid. It is all blue, James. It's all about the Fords this weekend, and they're going to be hard to stop from here.
Look, they are. They've been quick all weekend, but Nathan Pretty joked between races that he actually won the Holden Invitational this weekend, so he starts 5th. Referring to be the quickest Holden so far this weekend, he was.
Great to have Brad Patton back. Remember, he had a big crash at Bathurst late last year. David Cedar 16th. We have combined the points to determine the grid. Danny Bazadzik is 19th. He's the cousin of Marcus Sukanovic, former Ute champ, so he's got a bit of good advice on the phone. Jack Elsgood from 23rd. Horror weekend for him. Cam McConville started well, but obviously that exclusion from race 1 has pretty much killed his weekend. Chris Pither and Jared McLeod, the son of the 87 Bathurst winner down the back. But Jack Elsgood is in the lane, so real drama for the former champion. We'll get race 3 started without Jack. The Cooper's Clear Falcon, of course on home soil for the sponsor, is in the lane. Walton to the left, Fisher to the right, Ryan Hansford and Ryle Harris from the second row of the grid. Let's get running in race 3. Now the thing is about this chicane, pole position is on the outside. They've got to fix this.
Well, exactly. Oh, but Walton goes right around the outside.
Well, you could do that.
Uses plenty of curb, but you're right. We have seen that in a number of categories. That if the two guys on the front row can even start, but
Harris made the big lunge. Fisher tried to block, but he was too late. The Rexall Ford was down the inside, but through these lefts and rights, Fisher can hang on here. He's on the inside for the next one, but he was too slow to cover them because the ride was already in there.
Well, Nunes, from what we've seen in the first 5 or 6 corners of this race, we should be in for a cracker.
On board with Kim Jane, looking back at Josh Burden, the young Tasmanian who is driving a car from the Cedars Racing Team workshop. He's come from Formula 3 where you have to finesse the cars. You've got aerodynamic grip, you've got slick tyres. You've got none of that here, son. Just race a Ute.
Well, a Formula 3 car probably weighs about 500 kilos. These V8 Utes, 1,800. So that's a big step up for Josh, but he's doing a pretty good job so far.
How big's the lunge at turn 9? And he's got it done. Or has he? Walton's going to hang tough. Up over the curb, but still manages to keep his nose in front. This is good stuff.
This is a great camera angle. I love this on the roof of the Jesus Falcon. And problems here back in the pack for the I-Seat Falcon.
Yeah, Grant Bromley behind the wheel this weekend of that car, and it's copped a little bit of a fix-up. There's Jeremy Gray in the SS Inductions car.
And we saw Jeremy obviously caught up in that Turn 1 incident in race 2, but Fisher now changed for the lead.
But not getting away.
And just have a look at Ryle Harris there, sitting in third. It's been a nice, consistent weekend from Ryle so far. Probably doesn't have the outright speed of the new FG, but his old BF Falcon is still doing a good job.
On board, Craig Donis in the Thirsty Camel Commodore. This is the pacemaker in car, and this is a loaned car. This is Grant Johnson's car, because Craig had a massive testing crash at Calder with brake failure. He went head-on into a fence, completely stuffed the front of that car, and they've put together this package just to get him here for his home race.
That's right, and there was a bit of a question mark on whether Craig himself would be fit to drive after that heavy impact that he suffered in testing at Calder. But I tell you what, Noons, having brake failure and then coming in a testing accident and coming to a street circuit, geez, you'd have to have your wits about you.
Chris Bither here trying to sneak his way through past the Wanda Pates Commodore of Travis Sharp from Western Australia. They're not afraid to use that curve. Oh, Auto 1 replay. There's Troy Donis getting into the back of Jared McLeod, who he's 3 from 3. He's had contact or a spin in all of them so far.
So that's a bit like welcome to Ute racing, isn't it?
Bromley got inside Noel Edge. The boys have saved up the action for the third final race. And this was the Auto 1 replay. Remember how I said that pole's on the outside and you can't hang on? Well, Walton proved me wrong, but he had to go the long way to do it.
Well, we both thought that Fisher had the line, but yeah, the Auto 1 replay clearly shows that Walton's not afraid to use those curbs. Here he has a monster run on Fisher now.
And he's going the long way out there. No way in hell he'll do that. But what he'll do is he'll open the door for Harris. And Walton, even though it's just his third round in the Utes, he looks like he's been doing it for 3 centuries.
He certainly doesn't mind keeping his boot into it, that's for sure.
It's great to watch. And it seems to be fast as well. They've dropped off Ryan Hansford in 4th spot. But it is Andrew Fisher who leads the way. The boys aren't afraid to throw it around. We'll be back on the streets of Adelaide in just a sec. Back on the streets of Adelaide, this is Kim Jane. We are on board the number 27 Commodore with our Newline in-car camera, but young Tasmanian Josh Burton's giving him a hell of a headache. He's down the inside of turn 8. Someone's got to give in here.
Well, I think it's going to be Kim Jane because he's on the outside, but geez, I tell you what, Burton!
Oh, no.
He gives the wall a bit of a kiss.
He sucked the young fella into that one, didn't he? And now he's down the inside at turn 9. Have a look at the witness mark down the black side of that Falcon. And if he's not careful, Ben Cabbage in the Workhorse Falcon, this is another of the new FGs, will slip on through. Kim Jane through to 10th, and Burton trying to cover 11th spot.
Kim Jane's been around this championship for a long time, obviously a former veteran of the Thunderdome out at Calder Park as well in the NASCAR days, so I think he might have suckered the young fella in there to a move that probably wasn't quite on. It's the fastest corner on the track. And
oh no.
He's lucky that
he's just kissed it. He's got it side on, which is good. Well, it's not good, but it's better than hitting it hard. Oh no! Fisher throws it sideways and throws away the lead and the round win. The way the points were sitting there, James, they get points for qualifying as well as the races.
He'll be absolutely kicking himself.
No.
So it's been a long time between drinks for Andrew, and he was in a strong position there. Just lost the rear on entry to turn 5, but we've got damage on the left front of the Redco Falcon. So Walton, I hazard to a guess that he's hit the tyres at turn 1 at the chicane. Just probably taking a bit too much entry curb there.
It looks like it'll be okay. It doesn't look like it's going to break loose, and I don't think the officials will drag him into the lane. Here's the Holden Invitational that Nathan Pretty spoke of. He's 5th overall, best of the Commodores, Baxter, Cedars, and Reece McNally behind. Remember that Cedars started 16th, so he's made some good headway. Auto 1 replay, Fisher out wide. Oh, he bumped the fence too. You've got to go a long way to touch it out there.
This
is what he did, all by himself.
Yeah, so nobody to blame but himself there. But
are those ones concentration errors more than anything?
Well, it could be a combination of concentration, but also maybe the rear tyres starting to go off. Obviously, no weight in the back of these utes, so it's quite easy to lose the rear like Andrew did. So disappointing for him.
And he's got to be disappointed because he can't catch them. He's trying to hang on here from Gary Baxter, who's throwing it up the inside, having a look. Cedars is there as well. Warren Luff's tagged in, and he had a problem. Last corner, last lap of race 2, the ECU, the electronic control unit, cut out, so he had to limp to the line. But look at Cedars, off the final turn, straight past Baxter. He's got past on the way to the chicane, so clearly that FG Falcon, it's a rocket ship, and that's what the Ute Series have done a really good job of in the last 3 or 4 years. The parity has just been on the money. It's been good stuff. Clearly, when you introduce a new car with a new engine package, it needs a little bit of fine-tuning. I'm sure they'll get that pretty much on the money very, very soon.
And we haven't heard that word parity for 3 or 4 years, like you said, Aaron. So clearly the series will look at that in between rounds, and I'm sure they'll get it spot on for the next round.
Remember the 90s in V8 supercars? The word parity was used more than trophy in Champagne. It was pretty crazy, but the Ute guys have done a good job in the racing. Well, it doesn't stop the guys from throwing their cars at the curbs, at the walls, at the concrete. On board with Warren Luff. Century batteries in car. Look at McNally getting chased by Baxter as he tries to squeeze through.
Turn 8 is not the place where you want to be going too wide, so I think a wise move for McNally to pull in behind Chucky Baxter there. But Cedars, he's picked up another position now, so I guess if there was an award for passing the most amount of cars in a weekend, Cedars would definitely have that wrapped up.
Reece McNally with the side skirt just flapping on the Stratco Commodore. That car's prepared by Ben Cabbage's team, who also looks after Jack Elsgood and Reece's brother Jake. So they've got a bit of a finger in all the pies between Holdens and Fords and the like. But Ryan Hansford here on his way and just charging. But Cedars is coming. Remember, he started 16th. Hansford started 3rd. The 8 car is really hooked up.
It certainly is. You know, there's never been any doubt about David's speed in the Ute Series. So he's been in contention the last couple of years for the championship, and I'm sure he'll want to try and tick that box this year.
Auto 1 replay. Chris Walton, the leader through the turn 1 chicane, and that piece of front bumper is persistent. It's hanging in there, quite literally. He's not afraid to throw it at the curb. Check out the sparks.
The sparks, Nudes.
Oh.
Well, these Ute boys, you know, they never fail to put on entertainment, and that's certainly what we've had this weekend.
Fonzie Mullen here in the Ramjack Commodore, coming back to racing after some time away, and Troy Dontis on debut unloads himself in the Stella Holmes Falcon. He gets it pointed in the right direction. Warren Luff here, turn 8.
Have a go at McNally.
He's got a great run down the inside on Baxter, who's trying to cover and close the door, but he can't do it.
Nice move up the inside. We could see he was setting him up through turn 8. Got that inside line into the hairpin and got the job done.
Chris Walton, he's getting the job done. He leads the run to the checkered flag in just a sec from Adelaide. We're on the run home in the final race of the weekend in the opening round from Adelaide of the Auto 1 V8 Ute Series, protected by Armour All. Thirsty Camel Commodore we're looking out the back of. We're looking back towards Cam McConville in the Bundaberg Holden that's had, well, a weekend that started good and just went down from there.
That's exactly right, dude.
Oh, no! Oh. Jared McLeod at turn 8. He has been in more grief this weekend than you could ever believe a Ute rookie could muster.
And he's got damage to the left front, so that is going to be game over for young Jared.
And this is the ex-George Elliott car that George has raced the last couple of years, and Jared's got Alan Pitt and Les Small helping him out with running this car. Had a pretty good test at Calder, but testing's fine. Racing's gone completely the opposite direction.
And hopefully we should be able to get away without a safety car for that incident. He's well off the racing line. So probably just local yellows through turn 8.
Chris guys lunging. He started 29th on the grid. He's through on Ben Dunn. He's had a pretty good time, but won his class at the Bathurst 12-hour in a turbocharged Astra of all things,
and
which is different.
The replay of Jared McLeod going around.
Kept it off the concrete. Not quite.
World. So to have a spin at turn 8 and get away with that amount of damage,
wouldn't mind betting he's had something else go on before he got to turn 8, but nevertheless, here we go. This is on. Hansford and Cedars. The battle for the minors.
So Cedars' charge continues through the field.
This is for 4th, remember. And these two have won the Rookie of the Year title for the last couple of years in the Ute Series. They've both had a bit of V8 supercar experience. They've both been driving forward to the front, but can Hansford cover this time? Yes, he does. So Cedars has got one lap to do it in.
And he'll be doing everything he can to get past that truck line Falcon of Ryan Hansford, of course, son of the late, great Greg Hansford. It's great to see him out, racing competitively at the front of the field. And like you touched on, did a great job to win the Rookie of the Year title in the Ute category last year. He'll be looking for a big year this year.
Well, Chris Walton at this rate, he's got to be the new favourite for the Rookie of the Year award. He only did 2 rounds last year, so he will still qualify for the criteria. The Ute Series guys, they're introducing a teams championship too this year. We'll bring you more details on that throughout the course of the year. And what they've also done is they've made the weighting of the championship points reward the guys who finish in the top 3. Normally, it's been 1 point for every position, but there's a couple of extra points on offer if you finish first, second or third. So if you dominate a championship, you'll get rewarded for it this year.
Which I think is a great idea. You know, you always want to have incentive to go for race wins and podiums. So to have that, I guess, extra points gap between those positions is a great idea.
Final time through turn 8 for this opening round. Josh Burton just staying out of the way of the leaders. Fisher's not done with just yet.
No, he'll definitely be kicking himself for that mistake we saw at turn 5 earlier in the race, because it's been clear that there's been nothing wrong with his car and his speed throughout the race. So he just lost that bit of track position. He's not giving up. He almost clouded the tyres there at turn 11. But Chris Walton, he is the man this weekend. He's shown them all a clean pair of heels.
Beautiful job from the Queenslander. Final turn coming up. He broke the lap record in this race. He will take 2 race wins for the weekend, and Ford will open the account in 2012 in dominating style. It's a blue oval sea of Falcons. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Position 6 is the first Commodore.
And Ryan Hansford able to hold on to 4th spot there with that battle with Cedars towards the end there. And as we mentioned before, Nathan Pretty, he can walk away from the weekend knowing that he's won his class as he feels.
He won the Commodore Cup, didn't he? He was the best finishing of the Holden drivers and ended up in position 6. McNally 7th, Baxter 8th, Warren Luff in 9th in the Auto 1 wildcard entry, and Kim Jane rounded out the top 10. In the NZ Drivers' Championship with 1 round of 8 down, it's Walton, Harris and Fisher leading the way. Pretty's the best of the Commodores in 5th, and Kim Jane rounds out the top 10. Kylie King is with our winner.
Chris, some great racing there and a great result for yourself.
It was a great race. It was hard all the way to the end. Roll kept pressure on me all the way. Andrew kept pressure at the start there. To come away with a win, the round win and a lap record with a new car, new season. Great effort, I think.
Now for the part of the show that the competitors love, because we get to give away a bit of cash. David Cedars picks up the SS Inductions Hard Charger Award. He picked up 14 spots in race 2 and went from 24th to 10th. Gary Baxter picks up $500 for the Champion Spark Plugs Whole Shot Award for the best start for this opening round in Adelaide. And Chris Walton, he leads the championship. He leads the Rookie of the Year Award. He is a dominant factor on the streets of Adelaide. He picks up the trophy and the spoils from the opening round of 8 here at the Clipsal 500. It's an all-forward weekend in the opening round. Join us next time when the Utes head south to Tasmania, the Apple Isle, Symmons Plains Raceway, on the outskirts of Launceston. We haven't been there for a little while. Looking forward to getting back there. The action from March 30 to April 1. April Fool's Day might have something in that. Look forward to the next time with the V8 Utes. Thanks to James Moffat and the whole crew. I'm Aaron Noonan. We'll see you next time.